the Russian ground force has been degenerated somewhat by this conflict, although it is bigger today than it was at the beginning of the conflict. The Air Force has lost very little. They've lost 80 planes. They have another 1,000 fighters and fighter bombers. The Navy has lost one ship. So they still use all of that conventional power as well, and they mix them all together, sir.
Western intelligence, right, as you know, estimates that, 45,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in this war, right? It's a stunning death toll. But what I thought General Cavoli said today was pretty incredible in that context. Even with that, the Russian ground force in Ukraine right now is bigger, he says, than it was at the start of the invasion. And they say the Air Force and Navy, despite these Air Force mishaps lately, these terrible mistakes they've made, have suffered minimal losses. So what do you take away from that there's more Russians on the ground now than there were at the beginning?
It is not a surprise to me, Erin. And as you remember, we've talked multiple times about something I called battlefield math about a year ago.
Yep.
And when Russia entered this conflict, they had 190,000 soldiers, allegedly. That seems like a lot. But for the missions they had, for the various mission sets they were required, that was nowhere near to being enough troop-to-task requirements for the Russian soldiers. They've realized that. They've now reinforced those positions, especially the defensive positions, the cities, the towns. So they have more soldiers there. But I'd also remind you, so does Ukraine. Ukraine has also mobilized literally hundreds of thousands of people. So this clash of an offensive against a defense is going to be tough. Now, General Cavoli also mentioned the Air Force and the Navy.
Yep.
He estimated that the Russian Air Force has lost about 80 airplanes. They've literally got hundreds, if not thousands, more to do. But what we've seen in the Russian Air Force and the Russian Navy is the same kind of ineptness that their army has shown.
Yeah.
They have not coordinated. They have not trained. They're not competent on the battlefield. So they have not used their Air Force forward of the line of troops. In other words, where their front lines are, they haven't flown Air Force beyond that because they can't control them and they're afraid of Ukrainian air defense. So yes, the assessment, the quantitative assessment by General Cavoli is absolutely correct. It's going to be a clash, certainly a tough fight in the next phase of this operation.